That's Bros with When Will I Be Famous right here on the Brightside. Hey, why you laugh?
I always say if you have to ask, that means you're not famous, okay?
Yes, that is true. That is actually very true. And they made a song about this.
Yeah.
These people. All right. To the important matter at hand. I need to know about this mental health hashtag. And we have our guest this morning, Dr. Natasha, to take us through it. I got to tell you all the goodness about this lady. 10 years of experience as a clinical psychologist. She specializes in early childhood development, child and parent mental health. I need help with that. And also parenting. And she is a clinic manager at the James Cook University Singapore Psychology Clinic. And she also has her own private practice. Where do you find the time?
Yeah. A quick reminder that this morning we're also live on Facebook. So do join us there, facebook.com/1FM913. There are going to be some visuals popping up that could help you with your mental health. So Dr. Natasha Riard, welcome back.
Yeah. Thank you. Always happy to be here.
We're so excited to find out more about this mental health hashtag. Tell us, what's it all about?
Okay, I guess before we delve into it, maybe the mental health hashtag is really a way to make mental health clearer so that you know what those important parts are. So I think physical health has been dominating, because to make a country kind of run, everybody needs to be physically healthy and productive and go to work and don't fall sick. And you want to reduce that healthcare burden, right? So it's very clear. Messaging is very clear. So if I ask you, what do you think are some components that contribute to better physical health, what would those be?
Oh, that would be easy to figure out, right?
Diet, exercise,
workouts.
Exactly. So diet, exercise, sleep.
Yeah.
Some people might even say annual visits or go to the doctor or blood tests or things like that. But your big three is always there. I always get sleep, exercise, diet. And you get bombarded with those messages every day.
Yeah.
Because if you just on the bus, on the ads, you will know so for diet, people know exactly what to do. Whether they do it
it's a different story.
It's a different story. Yeah. But people know about the pyramid. They teach that in schools.
For
now
sure.
we have the plate, half veggies, a quarter. So it's messaging has always been very clear.
Yes.
Less clear about mental health. So even when I teach the students at James Cook University and I ask them, I say, okay, and they've gone into the program, right? And I say, okay, what are some things that contribute to better mental health or poorer mental health? What comes to mind for you guys?
Can I say sleep? Sleep is important too.
Yeah, I think the messaging has been there as well. So we borrow things from physical health, right? So because we think as well, okay, sleep, and then we go back to maybe even diet or exercise, but that's baseline. That is something that we kind of hopefully with that you can manage stress. But when we're talking about deep mental health,
so I would say self-care, but under self-care is also sleep.
Yes.
Then how?
You can tell what both of us want very badly.
Sleep. Exactly. So it's less clear. People might say things like, resilience, stress management or emotion regulation. You're getting closer and closer, but we need, I hope one day that when I ask, okay, what are things that contribute to mental health, big three will come up.
Okay.
People will just be diet, sleep, exercise. So we need the same things when we talk about mental health so that we all speak the same language.
Okay, that makes sense. It's clearly defined and it's also actionable. So we're actually going to dive in that, and this mental health hashtag is going to help us.
Yes.
So we're going to head on over to Facebook Live. You got to come and see this. We've got some visuals to share with you. I think we're definitely going to start off this brand new week on a great foot. So come and join us on our Facebook Live, facebook.com/1FM913.
Is there going to be a test at the end for the big three?
You see this completely
Will it be obvious?
Tell me now.
Okay, I'll tell you now.
1FM 91.3.
Morning, everyone. Hey, how's it going? Welcome to our chat here with Dr. Natasha, and it's about the mental health hashtag. I am very, very intrigued. It's a great point that you brought up. We aren't clearly defining how we can achieve better mental health. So let's get to it.
Okay, let's get to it. So I just want to credit, I guess, the person who did all the research to come up with this 9 factors, and that's Stephen Hayes. And as I think part of his retirement project and his gift to clinical psychology is he did research that he called the Death Star Project.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
He's a Star Wars guy. I love him already.
And because it's so big, and he was really going to that research with his colleagues to find out what are the things that cause better or poorer mental health. And so they found all of this data and they could pick out very easily, these are the things. And so he had this, there are 9 factors. So that's why it's a hashtag, because it's quite nice. You just sort of draw a hashtag and then you've got like 9 boxes, right?
Okay.
Or, you can call it tic-tac-toe also. Start playing tic-tac-toe. But it's just to remember those are 9 things.
Okay.
The most important things actually are the ones like sitting on the first and second row of your hashtag.
Okay.
So those are the things that are like what you actively can change.
Okay.
Whether on your own or if you go to therapy or you read up more, those are within your control. The bottom of the hashtag is a little bit like what contributes to it.
Okay.
So what contributes to like your difficulties or your strengths when it comes to mental health. So let's just go straight into it.
Okay,
I think
sure.
if you're looking at the visual, the top row has things like attention,
Okay.
thoughts, and self. And then the second row will have emotions, actions, and motivation.
Okay.
So these are 6 very important components to mental health. Yeah. And then at the bottom row, I think you have something like biology, because we're all born with different kinds of temperaments.
Yeah.
Some of us may even have like genetic issues, or we have congenital, like you're born with certain kind of medical disorders or predispositions.
Right.
So those things factor in as well. And then we have triggers. I think triggers we all know is like the thing that sets basically like the whole hashtag.
So like when you're hangry, is that a trigger?
That could be. Yeah, if you're hungry, I'm hungry. Yeah. And then your world. Everything that happens to you in your world. So when I talk about your world, you're thinking about, hey, me, I'm at the center of my world. When I grow up, I have my parents, my peers, my school, social media, work, right? How are the things that have happened to me affecting my mental health as well?
Okay.
So a lot to say,
Sure.
and I don't want to overwhelm. So let's look at a trigger.
Okay.
Then we can sort of like go into,
The other components. Okay.
is that cool?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay.
I'm ready.
So let's say we have a trigger, which is we get an email from our boss, and it says, see me in my office.
Bum bum bum.
It's the same thing like in primary, secondary school when your teacher says,
See me.
After
see
class.
me. You're like, no, I don't want.
Or they write it on your essay at the bottom. See me. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Memories coming back to me. Things that have happened in my world. So a trigger like that happens, right?
Okay.
You go up to the 6 boxes
Okay.
above
Okay.
and you look up. Thoughts will come in. We may not necessarily notice them, but this is what I mean about making mental health clearer. Because we have to go and go, what's running through my mind?
Okay.
Oh no, I'm going to get fired. Or it could even be the other way around. Hey, I think we're now going to finally talk about that thing I wanted to talk about. Right? So the thoughts that we have, they are automatic.
Okay.
I think I've said this before, maybe previously when I come here, but boom, they come in. Some of it is a lot of our control. So when we look at mental health, Stephen Hayes has basically said, look, those negative automatic thoughts or what we call like distortions, sort of things that like somehow filter through our mind and we have a certain lens. Or if we're very stuck with our thoughts, like we cannot like get away from them. Those are things that's going to lead to the poorer mental health, especially if it's happening a lot in higher intensity compared to when we're able to notice our thoughts and be like, hey, that was my first thought. I now have some control over my second thought.
Yeah.
So maybe my first thought was, I'm going to get fired, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, and then if just thinking about that, we can delve into the emotions box.
You kind of have to like pause for a while and step outside of yourself to like actually observe like, hey, what was that thought about, right?
So that is something that would be good for your mental health. So within the box, you can identify what is going to bring me away from good mental health and then things I can do to like sort of change that. So I can notice that I have that thought and kind of go, oh, hang up. That's my automatic thought. What do I want to do with it? Do I want to listen to it? Do I want to expand my perspective, have other kinds of thoughts?
Okay.
Do I want to have some distance from it?
Okay.
To kind of be like, hey, that's just a thought, So then from the thought, like you have that, you go into emotions.
Sure.
So if I'm having I'm going to get fired, I'm going to feel worried.
Yeah.
Maybe I might feel angry. I'm like, why would I be fired? I didn't do anything wrong. And so being aware of those emotions, right? So things that kind of like bring us away from good mental health is actually avoidance of these emotions. The more we avoid, the more it's going to fester.
So can I say that it's actually, when you have that first thought, is it okay to kind of follow it through for a little while and then to come back and say, hey, how logical was that, or how healthy is that for me?
Yes, at any time that you're able to notice it, do it.
Okay.
So we're not looking for perfection here.
Yeah, sure.
Perfection is the enemy of mental health, actually. So at any point that you notice it, you can then step back and say, can I have a different perspective?
Okay.
So that's for the thoughts.
Okay.
And then the emotions is to be aware, because usually when we start feeling scared, we start feeling worried, we're like, I don't want to feel that.
Right.
Then we start scrolling through our phone. We start doing maybe things that are not healthy.
Eating,
Oh yeah.
snacking, ice cream. Oh.
Don't look at me. Don't look at me.
Don't look at me
Don't
too.
look-
Yeah. So exactly. So rather than kind of avoid it, we want to then embrace it, which is scary, but embracing your emotions is actually on the path to better mental health. To kind of say, hey, yeah, I do feel worried.
Okay.
I do feel worried, and that's okay, because I'm having that thought that, whether logical or not, I might get fired, for example.
Okay.
Right? So, make space for that worry and take a deep breath and sort of let it sit there, but with your permission.
One thing I used to kind
that's
of
nice.
think about is what's the worst possible outcome. I would think about that and then kind of come up with solutions to that, and then I would feel a lot better.
Yeah. So that can be a strategy in the thoughts as well.
Yeah.
Right? To kind of be like, hey, let me step back, get some distance, and actually go, is this really a catastrophe?
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
Or am I just making it up in my mind? So thoughts, emotions, and then our actions. What we then choose to do.
Okay.
Do I go meet my boss? Do I suddenly say I got
from the
stomach ache?
office?
Yeah, I'm like, I'm sorry, today I MC.
I'm not free.
I just saw you just now. No,
That wasn't me. Yeah. So actions are actually how we cope, actually. So a lot of times in psychology, when we're trying to understand behavior, we're looking at how does this person cope? And so again, a lot of avoidance is not helpful to mental health. We want to sort of have this idea that we'll focus on little things and do it step by step. Yeah, so things that contribute sometimes to our poorer mental health are bad habits or maybe maladaptive ways of coping.
We need to speak about this. We're going to head back on air. We need to share with our Brightside listeners more about this. Is really fascinating. The mental health hashtag. Come and join us live on air. You got to hear all about it. We are getting loud, just like Jennifer Lopez, about the mental health hashtag with Dr. Natasha. A very fascinating discussion already began on our Facebook Live. And in fact, we shared the visual about what the mental health hashtag looks like. Is it right for me to say that with this hashtag, I mean, if I were to just print it out, have it with me, it's going to be a great way for me to just pause,
That's the dream.
Would this be a good tool?
Get a
for that?
tattoo of the mental health hashtag.
I would, some of the visuals I changed. I think this row quite nice. But is that really what it's meant to be?
Yes. Like we kind of want it in our pockets. We want it in our school books, I think, because we're really entering almost like the fourth era of where mental health is like the fourth wave, I feel, with this thing.
So once again, just very quickly, 9 boxes like you have in a tic-tac-toe box or a hashtag, like you said. The top 2 rows you pointed out?
Yeah, the top row is attention, thoughts, and self. Your middle row is emotions, action, and motivation. And your bottom row is your own biology, the triggers that set you off, and how safe do you feel in your world.
Okay.
So things that happen in your world are very important as well.
Okay.
And you can pick any box. Yeah, so don't feel like I have to do all of this all at the same time. Nah, wow, too complex. But break it down, choose a box that you like.
Okay.
Something that I typically start off with, like with my students, would be something we call what's the T?
What's the T?
What's the T? Because like TEA, the T. And thoughts, emotions, action.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so when you get into those things, like your boss sends you that email, please see me, right? So you ask yourself the question, from this box, there's so many things, I'm just going to pick 3. What's the T?
Okay.
What are my thoughts?
Okay.
What are emotions I'm feeling?
Sure.
And what are my actions going to be? What am I going to do? So we gain awareness first, then we can decide, through little things that we're learning maybe each day, what might be helpful. So you can break down the box.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
For the attention bit,
Yep.
okay, there's a spotlight in the picture. So imagine your attention as a spotlight. So when you get that email, right, where does your mind go? Where do you shine that light? So things that Hayes has identified would be things like our mind likes to go
To the negative.
very good. There, pass the test already. Shows us what are the answers. Yes. So our mind can go to the negative.
Okay.
It can, and then it can stay stuck there.
Yeah.
It's okay for our mind to go to the negative.
Okay.
But it's when we're stuck there and the spotlight can't move. You're trying to be like, no, move it. And we can't.
Okay.
Okay. So we also like to go back to the past. We like to ruminate. We'd be like, oh no, I said that. I did that. What was it? What were the things that I did last week that could set off this email? Like, you know?
Yep,
So
yep.
that is actually helpful. It can be helpful, but again, if the spotlight stays stuck there, it's the stuckness that really contributes to that poorer health where we don't have the flexibility to move our spotlight. We also like to go to the future. We're like, what if? Oh, what if I get fired today? Then who's going to pay my bills? And what if this? And what if that?
Right.
So
right.
attention is really about how flexible are we with moving that spotlight.
Oh my gosh, it's so much more meaningful, the imagery that we're sharing this on our Facebook Live. Do go and check it out. You know, the mental health hashtag. Wow, this is really like,
Mind blown.
yeah, the spotlight in my mind is switched on now. Focused on you. Okay.
Thank you. So what we want to do in that attention box is actually, this is where mindfulness comes in. Mindfulness sits very well in this box because mindfulness is actually about noticing and where your attention is. You have the ability, if you practice that kind of mindfulness practice, you would get better at sort of noticing that, oh, my mind is now going to the negative, or my mind has traveled to the future or to the past. And then we kind of need to bring it back to the present moment.
I can see how definitely the mental health hashtag is becoming a very, very useful self-tool that we can use day to day. We're going to talk more about it as we head back to our Facebook Live. Come and join us, facebook.com/1FM913. Hey everyone, the discussion continues about the mental health hashtag. Go and Google it. We have also shared the visuals for you. I think I like your hashtag best. Now that I know about this whole spotlight, the real meaning behind using that spotlight in the attention box, so much meaning.
Yeah.
Dr.
need to write
Natasha,
lyrics.
Yes.
can I just check? So the mental health hashtag is meant to bring us closer towards finding balance, or is it one way of just kind of like hashing things out?
Okay, so I think something we don't talk enough about when we say mental health, right?
Yeah.
Is that, sorry, a little bit of a burp this morning.
Oh, it's okay.
I didn't hear nothing. I didn't
Okay,
hear
good.
nothing. Oh,
Nothing,
aircon,
nothing.
but
Aircon. Okay.
yeah, plumbing
is,
issues.
is psychological flexibility.
Okay.
The more psychologically flexible we are, and that is information from the hashtag. So again, don't run too far from the hashtag. When I say psychologically flexible, I mean, can you move your spotlight? Are you able to have different kinds of thoughts? If we go into the self with the mirror,
Okay.
it's taking a good look at yourself. We look at beliefs. What do I believe about myself? Am
Okay.
I a lovable person?
Okay.
Am I like worthy? Am I effective? Or am I helpless? You know, do I believe I'm unlovable? Do I believe I'm a bad person? So how flexible we are, better mental health. Whereas the rigidity,
Okay.
no, I'm stuck. This is how. No, I'm a bad person. I only have bad thoughts. My spotlight only goes to the negative things. All my motivation is that, you know, nothing that is. So in the motivation box is a lot of like meaning.
Okay.
Okay, so whether you feel that the things you do are meaningful
Yep.
or meaningless. Also autonomy. Did you get to choose the things you want to do?
Right.
Or are you doing this for maybe the wrong reasons? Doing it for other people,
Sure.
or, you know?
Some other reason, not
Some-
really yours. Yeah.
Yeah, not really yours.
Okay.
So the hashtag is meant to promote psychological flexibility, and the moment you get more flexible, you would have better mental health.
So can I just summarize very quickly what you said?
Yeah.
Our beliefs affect our thoughts, which then affect our emotions,
Yes.
which then affect our actions. Hence T.
Are you sure you're not one of my students? I feel like you may have shown up in class like a fly on the wall. Exactly.
In disguise, but hey, very,
And so
very
I think you brought up a very good point, because everything in that hashtag is connected.
that's true.
They're all each
That's
other's
true.
friends.
Yeah.
So these friends can either help you or they can hurt you.
Bring you down together.
Yeah. So they're all connected. You connected it. You were like self, thoughts, right? And so if we look at the bottom row, your biology, I think this one coming in as parents, right?
Yeah.
Your kids have all different temperaments.
Yes.
Right? Some are like more outgoing, some are more shy, some are more anxious, some are more feisty, right?
Yeah.
Hey, I will solve all these problems myself, you know? They're more independent. We sit in our kids' world. So it is that combination of our own temperament and how it's like nature, nurture. So nature is biology, nurture is the world. And it's the combination of this actually that determines what kind of self we might have. So how we were parented, maybe if there's trauma, if there's like adverse childhood experiences, those things will come together and it will form what I believe about myself. So things that contribute to better mental health are people who are able to believe that, hey, no matter what, I am a good person. No matter what, I am capable. No matter what, I'm not helpless. Versus people who have very rigid beliefs about themselves, like I'm defective, I'm easily abandoned, people don't care about me. Like, so rules and beliefs sit in that self. What rules do I have about myself? What beliefs do I have? So that's how it's connected. So the more you kind of learn and gain that awareness of, hey, I didn't realize that maybe because as a child I was quite feisty and getting into trouble and being quite daring and outgoing. But then I had a parent who maybe was like more protective. Don't do this. Don't learn how to ride a bike. You fall. You walk already. I remember this, like, you walk already can fall. What more about a bike? So then it's like a little bit like, hey, the world seems not safe. Right. And then they could start to develop these beliefs. Now, but I don't want to oversimplify because it really depends on things like severity and how like frequently. The more frequent these things happen in the hashtag, then the more rigid we become. Right. Yeah.
Okay.
So again, we there will be things that we hear, but if they're not happening so frequently, like once in a while, they're not happening like with severe intensity, we may not like have mental health issues.
My goodness, this is really enlightening. It's making me really think about, myself. I need to look more at myself. And I think using this hashtag is going to be a great way for me to start. And you do stress on, I like that, be flexible, right? And also, what is it? Perfection is the enemy of mental health.
Yes.
So I can tell people, I want it to be perfect, but my mental health is more important.
My mental health got in the way of my perfection.
Sense of humor, very important.
Okay, no, but I do see how, and I also liked how you pointed about that. Let these, like the thoughts, the emotions flow. Let it happen, embrace it. I'm going to remember all those good points. Let us summarize this and conclude this as we head back real quick on the Brightside on 1FM and 91.3. Come and join us as well.
FM 91.3 Good Times, greatest hits. Good morning to you. Welcome to the Bright Side. That was Alanis Morissette and Head Over Feet. And today we are getting into the head of Dr. Natasha, who's helping us get into our own heads. We're talking about the mental health hashtag and what that all entails. Dr. Natasha is a clinical psychologist with over 10 years of experience. And today we focused on how the mental hashtag helps us think about our beliefs, our thoughts, and how these can affect our emotions and our actions, and what we can do to actually encourage psychological flexibility. Is that the term that you use, Dr. Natasha?
Yes, exactly. So this is, I think, going to be, I hope, a staple thing that as I keep talking about it to all my students and like you guys giving me the opportunity to like bring it out there, that we really know that, hey, these are the components, like attention, thoughts, self, emotions, action, motivation. And if I want to delve even deeper, I got to think about, hey, what does my world look like? And how am I? What's my own personality? What's my own temperament? And how all those things kind of go together to promote that psychological flexibility.
Just one question to wrap it up, right? So this is really good for us to use on ourselves, but I can see, I'm a mom of 3 boys. Will this be useful? Can I use it, like trying to like get a rough assessment on my son?
Yes, it's for everyone.
Like so this means
use it. Yes, so it means you will have 4 hashtags.
Yeah. That's right.
So you'll have one for yourself that's like, oh, this is me, Lavinia.
Okay.
This is my hashtag.
Okay.
Then when you look at your son, you're like almost asking like, hey, where does his mind go to actually when there's conflict? When there's a trigger or something happens that's like maybe stressful, where does his mind go to? And then you ask for the other one, like, where does their mind go to?
Okay.
What kinds of thoughts or questions you can ask?
Yeah.
What's running through your mind? When that happens, like, how do you feel? Okay, what do you do? So like action, like what do you do?
Okay.
Right? And also I think especially for parents is to know that you parents sit in the world of your child's hashtag, especially when they're young. So you are a very important part of their mental health hashtag.
Okay. No, I think this is really great. I'm realizing this is a really powerful tool. In fact, I'm not just going to tattoo it on myself, a tattoo on my son's forehead. So that every time when they get emotional, I'll be like, wait, take a moment, right?
Look in the mirror.
Yeah, and like, okay, what is it? What are you feeling? What are your thoughts? Because I think it's really important. And this is going to help me, right?
Yeah.
Ask those questions and to remember to ask those questions.
What thing lah? Maybe t-shirt. Let's print it on a t-shirt.
All right then.
Everybody has their own
T-shirt
t-shirt.
it is.
Temporary tattoo, temporary.
And then they can point, to the image. Like, I'm feeling
That's
this
a
way.
good idea, actually. You're onto something, huh?
Yes.
Okay, so in conclusion, Carol's obviously the better student here.
No,
I'll
no,
let you
no.
have that prize there. All right, the red apple, the bright red apple from Dr. Natasha. Dr. Natasha, thank you so much. And if we wanted to find out more about this, about you, is there somewhere where we can go?
I think I have a website, so drnatashariard.com, or you can add me on Instagram, same handle, Dr. Natasha Riard, and we can talk there.
Ooh, thank you so much for this today. My goodness, we are off to a great start for this week.
The Bright.
Good times. Greatest hits. 1FM 90.